What is up, guys? So today I'm going to talk about some of the worst things I saw when I was an active heroin addict. Now, these things still bother me to this day. They still swim around in my brain, and I'm going to talk about it. So I first got on heroin back in the 90s. It was after a rave. We used to have a little boot just to come down to, and we used to have it like once a week, and then it turned into once a day, and then it was 5 times a day. And we ended up full-blown heroin addicts, and we moved into a block of flats in Conisbrough. It was called Wellgate Flats. And we was always shoplifting and messing about. And I remember the first time I saw somebody use needles to inject heroin. I've never used needles, which I'm strangely quite proud of. But I've been around it a lot, and I don't like blood. I don't like needles. So the first time I saw somebody using a needle, it was both fascinating, but it was shocking as well. And it was when I was with the prostitutes. I used to live in a house full of prostitutes, and one morning this lass came down. She was skinny as out, and she had this needle, and it was massive. The big, I think it was a blue tip, and it was about this long, and it was fat as out, and she was only a skinny little girl. I says, "Chuffing hell, if you put that in your arm, you're going to break your arm." She says, "No, I'm going in my fem." And I says, "Fem? What's fem?" She says, "It's a femoral artery. It goes right down your back, right up your stomach." And she says, "I go in there." I says, "Jesus, if you put that inside of you, it's going to break you in half. It's massive." And back then, it weren't like it is now. You can just go to the chemist now, and they'll give you like foil and citric acid and needles. Back then, people weren't doing that. They was using lemon juice and vinegar in the heroin shots. And this lass, she says, "I'm going in the fem." So she's pulled her pants down right in front of me. You know, so she pulled her knickers down, stood there, fucking fanny lips are blowing in the wind, and she stuck this needle straight into her fem. And I said, "Jesus Christ, I said, didn't that hurt?" She went, "No." And she's banged it in. And I said, "Are you alright?" And she went, and just collapsed onto the settee. And she was just laid there, naked, with her fanny out, just gouching on the settee. And I just always remember that was so surreal. It's just fascinating, but also shocking. And the thing with these prostitutes is they're some of the nicest, kindest people that I've ever met. You know, they're all just struggling in a dark world of addiction, and they're just trying to get by. They don't want to do what they do, but they do it because they have to. And I always remember there were such nice people. There was this one girl, she used to work in a bank, and she lost everything, you know. She turned to heroin to numb the pain of losing a house. And I remember she didn't know what she was doing, so she's dug a needle into her arm and she's missed. So it all got infected, and she just kept leaving it until it ate away at her arm. And eventually she just had an open wound on her arm. You could see the bone, and it was all rotten, and it smelled horrible. And I remember she was sat in the corner of the room, and she was screaming in agony. Now, you don't know true pain until you've seen someone screaming in agony because the body's getting eaten alive by bacteria and infection. And those screams, they still haunt me to this day. It still bothers me. But yeah, I remember once when I got robbed at knife point. Some guys came in, beat the shit out of me, took all the money and drugs, and you know, and this lass came round, a prostitute, and she like took me in. She says, "Oh God, they've made a right mess here. I had 2 black eyes, all my mouth was busted up." And she says, "You're coming with me." And she took me to her house, and she looked after me all night. And I'll never forget that. It's like an act of kindness in such a dark period. And things like that you take to your grave. I always appreciated that. So yeah, I hate it when people video them and make fun of them. You know, those girls, they're providing a service. They're independent women, and it's such a hard life. But anyway, that's one of the most, or a couple, you know, worst things I saw in active addiction. If you like this video, please press the thumbs up. It helps me out. And I think moving forward, I'm going to talk about the controversial people of YouTube. I'm going to do one a week, and I'm going to do it like a comedy skit, you know, because I don't want to upset anyone. But it's going to be like true, but it's going to be funny as well. I'll give it a go. If it works, it works. If not, then I'll just not do it no more. But anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate every single one of you.